In case you didn't know, Red Dead Redemption 2, otherwise known as Pew Pew Simulator 2, is a massive hit game from the year 2018. This is a video game. If you don't know what that is, first of all, why are you here? Second of all, a video game is an electronic game that involves interaction with a user interface to generate visual feedback on a 2 or 3-dimensional display device, such as a touchscreen, virtual reality headset, or monitor/TV set. Thank you, Wikipedia. Turns out you are useful, and Mrs. Green has been lying to me all these years. The heck, Mrs. Green? I thought you were cool. Anyway, let's get right into the review.
I'm going to where the sun burns and the heat stays and come lay by my side.
This game is absolutely amazing looking. I mean, just look at that rock formation. You can practically see the depressed cowboy ready to jump. But all jokes aside, this is probably the most visually pleasing game that has ever come out. Good job, Rockstar. Here's a cookie. The water physics in this game as well are just amazing. You can see the foam on top of the water flowing through this river, as well as the water changing and reflecting light beautifully. The guns even look amazing, with so much detail and hard work put into them. For instance, whenever your gun is dirty, the smoke that comes off the gun will be black, but if you clean the gun, the smoke will be white or not able to be seen at all. Finally, the sky in this game is so beautiful that I've wanted to just stare at it for hours. In fact, a third of my playtime is staring at the sky, and the other 2/3 of my time has been staring at my horse. How Rockstar managed to make me burn my eyes out just because the sky looks cool, I will never know.
I'm going to where the sun burns and the heat stays and come lay by my side.
The music in this game is absolutely amazing. It's honestly better than the time I went to the New York subway and saw a guy with some tape on his hand banging on the wall and calling it music. The way Rockstar used the music in this game is absolutely wonderful because it fits every situation so perfectly. As an example, say you're riding through the grasses and suddenly you speed up. The game will take note of this and will play a song that is quicker and more exciting to fit the mood of you racing down the street. After you are done with this venture, however, the music will slow down again to represent the now calmer way you are going about doing things. If the scene is sad, the music will only add to the bitterness. If the scene is happy, like in the house building theme, it will make you so happy that you actually want to go out and build a house with an old guy and a Native American. I recommend you look up the house building scene and watch it. But hey, don't click away now because this is more important. To finish off this section, let me play you a song from, spoiler alert, Arthur's Last Ride. I dare you not to cry.
The many miles we walk, the many things we learn. Building of a shrine, only just to burn. I'm going to where the sun burns and the heat stays and come lay by my side.
The gameplay in this game is so great. I mean, look at this footage. Someone challenges you to a sharpshooting duel, and you end up winning, so he starts shooting you. Absolute top-notch gameplay right there. There is, however, one thing that is flawed about the gameplay. That is the witness system. You could be protecting yourself, which is completely lawful, mind you, and some random guy who supposedly has just been waiting in the corner for something to happen will see it go down, and suddenly you get a witness notification, and here, I'm gonna get the law on you, or something similar to that. So you have to kill them or tackle them. I find killing more effective. Altogether, this game has a whopping 104 missions, which is less nice than GTA 5's 69. All of these missions are spread out over 6 chapters and 2 epilogue chapters. Again, spoiler alert, the first 6 chapters are played as Arthur, and the 2 epilogue chapters are played as his good friend, John Marston. He just happens to be from the first Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy Shootin'. Other things you can do in this game include getting into a town fight, losing a town fight, throwing a guy off a cliff, and drowning someone. Those were all free roam activities, however, so let's get into a simplified version of the story. In the beginning of the game, we see a slideshow explaining how almost all gangs have fallen from the Wild West days. Luckily for plot reasons, we are a gang that still exists. We open up on a scene of us running away from someone in the snow. A bank robbery has just gone wrong. By the end of the chapter, we end up robbing a train owned by someone named Leviticus Cornwall. After this, we leave and go to a forested area, and so Chapter 2 begins. In Chapter 2, we are laying low in a city called Valentine, which is great for about 2 minutes until Leviticus Cornwall finds us and sends his men to kill us. This ends up with us shooting our way out of the city. We look for a new camping site and help a German family, and so begins Chapter 3. In this chapter, we are pretending to be people from far away, and end up becoming deputies to the police force. This is run by the Gray family, the rivals to the Braithwaite family. We find out gold is hid somewhere in the two's houses, and so our leader, Dutch, becomes about as smart as a toddler when a stranger offers them candy, and he tells us to play both sides, which, as you can imagine, goes horribly whenever we are ambushed and the best person in the gang, an Irishman named Sean, gets shot in the head. We then leave, but not before we set the Braithwaite house on fire because they kidnapped a kid in our gang named Jack. After this, we settle down in a swamp, but not before Dutch becomes 3 again, and we rob a bank that ends up with us being taken on a boat that crashes. We all somehow end up on the same island. Here, we basically fight a war between the citizens and the government. In this chapter, Dutch kills an old lady, and we end up getting on a boat back to the mainland of Red Dead Redemption 2. In Chapter 6, Dutch and his right-hand man both go crazy and kill Leviticus Cornwall when they said they were going to talk to him. A little while after this, Dutch and his right-hand man betray Arthur and John. This ends up with a fistfight with Dutch's right-hand man, Micah. Arthur ends up dying staring at the sunrise as a deer watches him from afar. In the first epilogue chapter, John is a farmer, and his wife ends up leaving him after he defends the farm, which is a bit weird on Abigail's part, and so ends the first epilogue chapter. In the second chapter, John meets up with some old friends and builds a house to impress Abigail. This works, and she comes back. John eventually finds out where Dutch and Micah are, so he brings some of his friends to go kill them. Whenever he does this, he shoots Micah in the head, and he lets Dutch go, as he expressed that he was sorry for everything he did. John then steals their money and is now $30,000 richer. In today's money, that would be about $816,000. So now that John can afford a Gucci store, the game ends. This story, in all seriousness, is so great. I would recommend that anyone get the game if they like good games. So anyone that likes the E.T. game for the Atari 2600, you shouldn't get this. But if your brain functions well enough, then you would like it.
I'm going to where the sun burns and the heat stays, and come lay by my side.